I've just added a few rows of tabby after I did the sumac using the chunky wool. Now I'm going to show you sumac using wool roving. So wool roving is very delicate. You don't want to play around with it too much because it pulls apart quite easily, but it is very soft and luxurious to work with. So I've got a piece, it's about this thick, but I don't want to use this much thickness because it's a little excessive in my opinion for this. So I'm actually going to pull it apart, and I've already started to play with it here, and it comes apart quite easily. So I've just split it. So now I have sort of two pieces, and I wanted something a little bit thinner, not as chunky in this section of my tapestry. So I'm going to use that same sumac technique because I want that braided look. But because my fiber now is thicker, instead of going over or going around 2 warp strings, I'm going to go around 3 at a time. Oh yeah, one thing I also wanted to mention, that roving, you don't really ever want to cut it. If you want to shorten it, the best way to do that is just to pull it apart because it leaves a nice organic finish versus a cut finish, and it just looks much nicer. So I'm going to leave a tail that I can then tuck in at the end. So I'm going to wrap around 6 warp strings because I decided that I was going to work in groups of 3, but I had to double that for the first one to look correct. Just tuck that in behind. So I'm going to go around the next 3. Sometimes you just gotta play with things, and I don't like how that twisted, but that's a personal choice. I'm just gonna smooth it out. I'm gonna go around the next 3, go over, behind, pull through, and like that, press it down. Now they are kind of getting pinched together. I'm just going to spread them out a little bit. I'm going to go pick up the next 3. Go pick up the next 3. The next 3. And now I'm left with 1 strand again. So I might go under and then reverse what I just did. So go under the 3 and pull through. Now I can already tell that I'm going to run out of my roving and I'm not gonna be able to complete it all the way. I think I might be okay with that, but I'm just gonna keep going. The other thing you can do is you don't have to go in both directions. I mean, this alone looks quite nice, as is this strip of beautiful pink fluffiness, and I might do 3 rows of tabby here. So it's totally personal preference, but if you do decide to continue with the sumac and the roving, you just have to reverse your brain to do the same thing in the opposite direction. And then you can just play with it until you're satisfied. Now I actually am not satisfied, and I know now that I don't want to keep going in the opposite direction. To me, for me, this thickness is good enough because I like the way that it sort of mirrors here, and I've got this stripe here. If I did another row, I just think it would take up too much and be too dominant. So I'm going to stop right there. And so this is Soumak technique using roving and Soumak technique using chunky wool.